And welcome back to the Countdown. I'm your Countdown host, MJ Book, back for another episode here in the world of the Countdown. And this is a unique episode. I didn't do this last year, but today is Moa's birthday. So I've had a couple of these. So not going to give my age, but I'm under 100. That's all I'll say. I'm 43 and proud of it. So if you want to say happy birthday wishes, that's cool. But today got a countdown going, but I am not alone on this countdown. I do have a guest with me to join me on my birthday special. And he's been a guest before. We've typically counted down wrestling stuff, but this is non-wrestling, so this will be very interesting. He's been involved in a couple of my favorite episodes involving tag teams and intercontinental champions of the past. You know him on 3GW's The Good Brother Blake. We hear you just Blake. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Happy birthday to you. I'm honored to be on your show on your birthday.
Yeah, this is the first. I didn't host an episode on my birthday last year. Did it this year. So rare company. Nobody can say on my show they've been on here on my birthday.
If I was there, I'd buy you a drink.
It's okay. I'll drink a few for you because where I'll be going later tonight, I can drink for free all night.
There you go. I need a place like that.
I'm sure there's places in town like that. You just have to search. They're out there. But like I said, this is a different countdown. Me and him have counted down wrestling. This is non-wrestling related, and we're counting down our favorite movies of one of the best actors ever. Great actor and history-making actor. And just for a couple of brothers, he's black too, so that means something to us. He is the great, the legendary, and for you ladies, y'all know he's that sex symbol, Denzel Washington. Great career. Yes, definitely. Some applause for Denzel. Great career. Of course, winning Academy Awards for supporting actor and best actor. Tremendous actor who has kind of gone into the acting realm in his later movies, but he hasn't forgotten where he's come from, and he still every now and then pops in one of those great acting movies. How difficult of a list was this? Because he's got a lot of movies.
It wasn't terribly difficult because in my head, when we discussed this, months ago, I started formulating what I wanted, what had to make the list, what could make the list. It was just get them in order. And I'll get more into it how I decide to order my top 10. But as you say, Denzel is one of the greatest of all time, and no one's going to even argue it.
Not with anybody with a brain.
There you go.
Not anybody with a brain, unless you're some kind of an idiot, a prick, or you're a racist. But or all three, or maybe some more things that I just will not name. But like I said, Denzel, great actor. This is going to be a fun list, and this is going to be a 10-spot countdown. And without further ado, we're going to get started. But just in case, you have some honorable mentions?
I do have a couple honorable mentions. This first one I haven't seen in eons, but I remember I really liked it. This movie came out in 1991. This is Ricochet. So Denzel, he plays a part of a police officer. Yeah, with the guy who's like a serial killer.
John Lithgow.
Yeah, John Lithgow. And then he breaks out of prison. Now he's hunting down Denzel. It was this movie, like I saw it written somewhere, and it's accurate. This movie's like a fever dream of a movie. It's really quality. And this is gonna be one of those that's gonna be hard to find, especially now with the streamings if you don't have it on a Blu-ray or DVD. But it is a must-watch. It is from 1991, but it's a very good movie. Young Denzel.
I think Ice-T was in it too, wasn't he? I think
he was in it. Yes, Ice-T was in it. Yes, he was. My second honorable mention, and some of my friends, if they hear this, they're going to be furious I didn't put this in my top 10 because it's definitely in their top 10. But it stars Denzel and Ray Allen, the basketball player.
Oh,
this is He Got Game.
Yeah, that's gonna piss some people off.
It is, and I the reason it's not in my top 10. I mean, Denzel, of course, power acting as always. Rosario Dawson is one of my favorite actresses. She's in it. Ray Allen, the reason it might drag down because Ray Allen clearly is not an actor. He's a basketball player, but so the delivery of some of his lines and some of his acting needed, some help, but they got him in there for the skill set of being a basketball player. And some things with the plot is kind of silly to me. But it is a good movie directed by Denzel. Directed by Spike Lee.
Spike Lee. Yeah.
Spike Lee joint. Yeah, great movie. Fantastic film. I highly recommend listeners go back and check that out. He Got Game.
Yeah, that kind of shocks me. I figured that was going to be in your 10. So, for first controversial one.
It would have been.
Don't worry. It won't be the last, probably. It probably won't be the last.
No.
I will say this. I'm going to save my honorable mentions till later, but simply because you said it, one of my honorable mentions is also Ricochet.
There you go.
I love that movie. It is pure of its time. If you really watch it in some aspects, it's terrible, but it's a good terrible. It's just entertaining. And John Lithgow plays a good bastard. Yes, so we would see him play a bastard again in Cliffhanger. He's just a good bad guy.
Yes. Older now, but back then, yeah, absolutely.
Yep. But we have a countdown to get started with here. So without further ado, let's get started with the countdown. As I said, this is a 10-spot countdown. And as always, I always start with my guest. Number 10, sir. What you got?
Number 10 might be a shocker. I really enjoyed this movie for what it was. This is starring Denzel, obviously, also starring Eva Mendes. This movie is Out of Time.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I like this movie. 2003. Denzel's kind of a mess in this movie. I mean, he's kind of he's going through a divorce. He's sleeping with another guy's wife. He's a chief of police in a small Florida town. He's a crook. And I usually don't like, that kind of stuff, but he's a crook. He's stealing. He's a complete mess in this movie, but his acting is always on point. This is very plot driven. It's a fine piece. I like this movie. I like it a lot.
Okay. I did remember watching Out of Time. The trailers, I remember, made it look really good because there was that whole scene on the balcony that occurred. Mm-hmm. Then I watched the movie, and the movie didn't go exactly where I thought it was going to go. And I kind of felt a little cheated after watching it. It's not bad, but that trailer was real deceptive.
He was such a mess in the movie. He's stealing. He's sleeping with another guy's wife and bragging about it, and they're in cahoots. It's a mess. He's a mess in it. I like it. You don't really see him do roles like that.
No, you don't.
Trying to keep it together.
No, it's definitely one of his interesting ones, and definitely I did not think you were going to name that one. I'd forgotten about it until you started saying Out. And I'm like, oh my God, Out of Time.
Yeah.
Interesting pick though. All right. My number 10. And I made an announcement for the last episode that I'm not going to be showing a lot of these on YouTube anymore, except for when I have guests or they're special. This one, I have a guest, so this will be on YouTube.
Nice.
So for those of you watching on YouTube.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, this movie is a very seriously guilty pleasure. It's directed by Brett Leonard, stars Denzel, Kelly Lynch, and a very young, before he was getting into some bigger roles, Russell Crowe, Virtuosity. look, it's a bad movie. I mean,
It's good bad though.
As bad as Ricochet is, this is even worse. But it deals with the future and virtual realities, and Russell Crowe plays this character who is basically a computer generated character who's created by all the sickest people they could think of, and they're in his head. And one of them happens to be somebody personal to Denzel's character, who was a cop, former cop. And he basically killed some people very close to Denzel. And the whole movie, he's just rubbing his face in it. Sid 6.7. He's super strong. He's got all these abilities, and he's making this personal. He's going after Denzel. It's a game for Denzel's character, who's his character is Parker Barnes. It's an odd movie. It's just odd, but it's one of those movies, we all have it. It's a guilty pleasure. It's a big guilty pleasure with me. I love this movie, even though I don't own it on DVD. I do have it on VHS. I just haven't went and bought it on DVD yet. But it was in 1995, so VHS was king still. But if you're willing to watch something that may not be the best, that you might have to let your mind go a little bit, I would definitely recommend Virtuosity. If you really can't tolerate stupid, you might not want to watch this. But it made it in my 10. Virtuosity, number 10.
That's a fun movie, though, man. That's a fun movie to watch.
It is. Sometimes you need to turn your brain off.
Yes. All right, my number 9. This might be another surprise. Another one came out in 1991, directed by Mira Nair, I believe is how you say it. Mississippi Masala.
Oh,
yeah.
That's going back.
That's going back. I don't want to attempt to say the actress's name because I will butcher it, and I don't want to disrespect the actress. But as far as young lady, in the movie she's Mina. In the movie, Denzel plays a part of a young man named Demetrius. She is Indian. He's African American. Obviously, somehow they end up in Mississippi. They begin to date, and her parents do not like it one bit. It's touching on racial tensions. It's in the South. Obviously, it's a romantic movie. I like this movie. I remember seeing it as a very young man, and then seeing it again when I was in high school, and I really liked it. Once again, a young Denzel movie. Still, you can look at him and see just raw talent in his acting, the way he delivers his lines, the way he can play any kind of character almost. You can see that he was incredibly talented even then. And this is going to be before, almost all of his, big movies and all that kind of stuff. That's my number 9, Mississippi Masala.
Yeah, that's going back. He was still somewhat unknown, but it was after I think he was on Saint Elsewhere.
Yeah.
I think it was Saint Elsewhere he was on.
Yes.
So it's after that, but still really early in his career.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen that one, though. I know of it. I don't think I've ever seen it, though.
I don't know. You're going to have to look at some kind of streaming. I don't even know how you can find it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's out on DVD somewhere. I doubt it's out. I doubt it's Blu-ray.
No. Well, you never know. I've seen a lot of crazy stuff on Blu-ray. I think I saw Virtuosity on Blu-ray. So if that's on Blu-ray,
you shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have said that. Because I'm gonna look that shit up.
Right, I think I seen it on years ago. Because I remember, because I was like, maybe I should get it, but I didn't. But yeah, I believe I saw that on Blu-ray. I believe. I could be wrong. But the point is, if you can find that on some format, you could probably find Mississippi Masala.
You shouldn't have said that. I'm looking that shit up right now. Oh my God, it is.
Yeah, okay. And I was right.
It's $9. It's $9.
Hit that buy button. Get it.
Uh, yep, I just did. I, I told you shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Yep, I just bought it.
There you go. Good.
I had no idea it was out on Blu-ray. I saw it on DVD, but not Blu-ray. All right.
Well, I'm glad I could contribute in many ways to this countdown tonight.
Yeah, I have only 730 DVDs and Blu-rays.
Nice.
All right. Number 9 is a lot more recent. One of his more recent, somewhat picks. It's not like a couple years old, but this movie was in 2014. And some people may not like this movie. I love this movie, and that's because it's based off of one of my favorite TV shows of the 80s. The Equalizer. I loved The Equalizer as a kid. Now it was played by an older British white actor, but I didn't care. I heard they were going to make a movie, and I'm like, okay, cool. Who's going to be the Equalizer? And then I hear the director, whose name I always butcher, Antoine Fuqua. I always butcher his damn name. And I'm like, okay, this will be interesting. Who are you going to get to play the Equalizer? And then I heard Denzel Washington. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm bought in. I'm watching this. And I watched it and absolutely loved it. I was shocked that it was even able to get a sequel, which I also love. And I own both of them on Blu-ray. And I'll say it now. Equalizer 2 is an honorable mention.
There you go.
But for those who have not seen The Equalizer, he plays this guy who's just trying to stay away from everybody. He's friendly and everything. He's got a nice job. He's very friendly. He's dancing to the Pips and everything. But he has this mysterious past, and he's got some, OD situations here. He continues to do the same things over and over and over meticulously. And he meets a girl at this place that he frequently goes and reads a book, and these Russian gangsters, they treat her wrong. And well, Denzel, without revealing too much, it's early in the movie, right, he just kind of starts timing the clock in his head about how long it's going to take to kill him, and he kills them very, very brutally. It is a brutal little movie, but I loved it. And they recently, of course, brought The Equalizer back to TV, and I was excited. And then I heard who was going to be the Equalizer, and I'm like, okay, that's a pass. It's Queen Latifah. I'm like, I already know where this is going. So,
I did see that. No, that's a big no.
And for those, I can't believe I have to say this. I'm not saying that because it's a woman. That has nothing to do with it. I just know where they're going to go with it, and I know it's not going to be good, and it won't last long. No. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the best for Queen Latifah. I love Queen Latifah. Grew up with Queen Latifah when she was, doing music. But love The Equalizer. Like I said, bought this the day it came out on Blu-ray. Have the second one. Bought that when it came out. And Denzel don't do sequels. So it was a miracle that he even did The Equalizer 2. He does not do sequels. But they talked him into it. Second one, not as good as the first one, but still good. I loved it, though. I have the complete series on DVD. Love the movies. The Equalizer 1 is my number 9.
Good movie. Didn't make my top 10, but good movie. He does kill people brutally in it.
Oh yeah, he kills a lot of people.
Yeah. Number 8 for me. Directed by Alan Pakula, I believe is how you say it, based on a John Grisham book. Co-stars Julia Roberts, another one of my favorite actresses. This is the Pelican Brief.
Pelican Brief.
Yeah, Julia plays a young law student. She uncovers this conspiracy of judges being killed, and she ends up going on the run because her conspiracy is I guess it's some truth to it. So she goes on a run, so she avoids being killed, and Denzel is there to assist her with all the things she's not to give away too much from the film. Came out in 1993. So this is around the time Denzel is just starting to blow up and just go, 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 go. So he's starting to blow up now. Great movie. I believe that there was some controversy about them two kissing or something like that.
There was.
I don't know exactly. I mean, I'll leave it up to listeners about how, why, and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know exactly where that went. I am pretty sure that at one point, at least, Julia and Denzel were really good friends, though, or as much as you can be friends, in Hollywood. So that is my number 8. Big recommend that people go see The Pelican Brief.
She spoke very glowingly of Denzel. She said he was serious. He was dead serious, which that's not a shock.
Right.
He's a method actor, so of course he's going to be pretty serious.
Yes.
But she spoke very glowingly. She was like, he's one of the best actors I've ever acted with, and she felt honored to do that movie with him. So,
and she was nuclear at the time. I mean, this is right in her around like her
Pretty Women.
Yeah.
Which I also love that movie, even though I get made fun of for liking that movie. I don't care. It's good.
There's nothing wrong with that movie. That's a good movie, and that's one of my wife's favorite movies. You just said why. You just said why, because people think of it as a chick flick, and of course,
if it is, fine. I like the show Sex and the City.
I've seen it. It's not one I go back and watch, but it's not. No. I've seen
it's
it.
Okay. It's okay. It's okay. I have the box set of that show. It's in a big old pink case. So anytime somebody comes over here and they look at it, they're like, "What the fuck is that thing?" I'm like,
my wife loved it. She's looking for, I guess there's a new season or a new movie or one of the two.
It's a series. It's a new show without Kim Cattrall's characder, because she's feuding with them all.
Yeah, and she was my favorite one. So that's definitely a pass for me. But my wife can watch it, all day.
Yeah, I probably won't be watching that. I can't do it. Not if they're gonna have not all of them.
Right.
All right. My number 8. I'm just gonna go right to it.
Oh, there you go.
You said it. It's the Pelican Brief. I mean, it kind of shocked me that you had it, much less at the exact same spot I did. There's not a whole lot I can add to this. You said it all. Julia Roberts' character is on the run after seeing her professor/boyfriend who discovers all this initially. He's the one who first is hunted down, dies, right? He dies very early, played by Sam Shepard, and he dies very early in the movie and kind of hands it off to her. And now she's the one on the run. And Denzel is the one she picks kind of to talk about the Pelican Brief, and it's just them on the run trying to avoid being killed. And it's a great movie. I'm not a big reader, but I loved the movie so much I did read the book, and it's rare if you can get me to read a book, but I did read this one, of course, by the great John Grisham. Very good book. Very entertaining movie. Not a whole lot to add to this. You said everything there was. These were two actors that were just either started blowing up or on the verge of blowing up. And 93 was going to be a pretty good year for Denzel, because there was another movie he did that year that I remember. So good year for both. Great to see them in this movie. Pelican Brief, my number 8.
Great movie. What else, you can say? My number 7. Now this is where it starts to get really sticky, because when I was conceiving this list in my head, I'm like, well, that's gonna be my top 3, top 4 at the most. But then I start writing it out. I'm like, oh crap, this is dropping in, and I feel bad because I want to get it just higher. If there's just other Denzel movies I like more. But this is a movie, if it's on TV and I don't have anything to do, I'm going to stop what I'm doing. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to watch it. And it's not short. It's directed by Edward, legendary director, and music by stars Denzel, Matthew Broderick, Freeman. It's Glory. Glory is a fantastic movie. It's about the first all African American regiment in the infantry. You see a lot of memes with Denzel shedding the one tear. If the listeners don't know, it came from this.
That's right next to the crying Jordan.
You read right next to the crying Jordan. It came from this movie. Absolutely fantastic movie. Once again, it's going to cover racial stuff, and it's one of those that you have to watch before it's all said and done. And it is older. I just realized this movie's older than I thought. This came out in 1989. This movie got Denzel his first Golden Globe and his first Oscar, Best Supporting Actor.
Yep.
Not his last, but got him his first.
Yep. That was a good movie. I remember they had us watch this movie in school, which I was shocked they even let us watch this in school because it's a little violent.
Yeah.
It's a little violent, so I was a little shocked they let us watch this in school, but we were studying the war and everything around that time, so it's like this was the movie the teacher chose for us to watch. She got the approval, so we watched it. That was the first time I watched Glory. It's a good movie. It didn't make it in my 10, but I did have it. I have it as an honorable mention, though.
Okay.
I do have it as an honorable mention. It's rough for me to watch.
Yeah, stuff like that, yeah.
It's just rough. I mean, it's like in a way, it's a weird comparison, but for me, it's like Logan. I love that movie, and it has made my top 1 or 2 on previous countdown, but I don't even own it because it's rough to watch it. It's a real rough watch.
Okay. Well, a side note, speaking of stuff you had to watch in school, they make you guys watch Roots in school?
Oh God, every black kid had to watch Roots.
Yeah. From the front to the back, the rooter to the toot. I'm like, I don't know if I can ever sit here and watch that again. I mean,
unfortunately, that's how a lot of black kids knew what happened.
Yeah.
Not in a book. We learned it on the screen, and we're like, wait. That's how that went down?
That's how that happened, yes. Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of white kids that remember that day because black kids were probably really pissed.
I'm sure that was an uncomfortable day at school, too.
That was not a comfortable day at school. And we're mad at people who have nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with nothing.
Nothing to do with it, but they should have warned us.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, look, this is what happened.
Yeah.
The other people in the room are not responsible for this.
There should have been some kind of pep talk. Yeah. So it should have been some kind of pep talk. We didn't get nothing. Okay, it's Black History Month. We're going to watch Roots.
And a side note, my mom said she wanted to name me Kunta Kinte.
Oh,
I'm glad she didn't do that.
I know. Well, he's not like a friend of mine, but I know a person named Kunta Kinte.
Oh, no.
No.
Yeah,
that's his first and middle name. Yeah.
Yeah. Thankfully, my dad won the argument.
There you go.
And he named me after him. So I was like, thank you, Dad. I don't want to be named Kunta Kinte. Thank you.
No, thank you for that.
No, thank you. With all due respect.
Yeah. Big no, thank you.
All right. My number 7. You went early in Denzel's career with a 1991 movie. Believe it or not, I'm about to go even older, just by 1 year, 1990. And this is one of those movies, again, pure guilty pleasure. Not saying it's a great movie, but I happen to love it. I bought this movie on Amazon Prime, not a physical copy, a digital copy. So it's on my Amazon Prime account. It was directed by James D. Perrett. I probably said that name wrong. Stars Chloe Webb, and rest in peace to the former actor Bob Hoskins is in this movie. It is none other than Heart Condition.
Oh my goodness! You way back.
I love this movie. It is okay. This is a hard movie to describe.
Yeah, it is.
Denzel plays this kind of crooked, somewhat. He's not the most honest person in the world.
You're right.
And Bob Hoskins plays a cop, a racist, foul mouth, bad health having cop who ends up having to have a heart transplant the same night that Denzel's character passes away. So he has Denzel's heart.
Mm.
Bob is obsessed with Denzel's character, hates him, wants to bust him, persecutes him to the till. And they happen to share a woman, Chloe Webb. And Denzel's dead. Hoskins has a black guy's heart in him. People are ribbing him because he's a racist. So it's ironic he has a black man's heart in him.
That's what you get.
He's trying to get healthier because of the heart. And he goes to have himself a burger. I love this scene so much. He goes to have himself a burger. He's kind of looking around and he's about to bite the burger. And you see a hand come in and he's like, don't do that. Clogs up your arteries and makes your breath stink. And Bob just looks up, listen. And Denzel just leans in and says, trust me. And he just kind of looks at him. So yes, Denzel plays a ghost.
Oh.
It is a ridiculous movie. There were rumors that the movie was going to be called Black Ghost. I remember. Thank God they didn't do that. Right. I might not have watched it, but yeah, this is a guilty pleasure. And obviously Bob Hoskins' character is the only one that can see him, the only one that can hear him. Yeah, he's interacting with them. I mean, when he's dancing, he looks like he's dancing with a burger when Denzel has. He's just ridiculous. But it's just a goofy movie. I love it. I enjoy it. Heart Condition. Nobody else would probably put this in their 10 of Denzel movies. And damn sure nobody would probably have it at 7. But I don't care. I love this movie. Number 7, Heart Condition.
I remember seeing that movie so long ago, and this is one of those like, yeah, I'll never watch this movie again.
It is hysterical.
Yeah. Wow, that's a good one. I wouldn't have thought.
I'm the only one that would have thought of that one.
Yeah. All right, I'm at 6. Let me say this. I absolutely love this movie. I talked about Denzel being a mess and out of time. The mess he was in that movie pales in comparison to the complete just dumpster fire he is in this movie. And I like seeing.
Oh boy, it can only be one of 2 movies.
This is Flight.
Yep, that was one of them.
Yes, directed by Robert Zemeckis, legendary director. Also stars Don Cheadle, John Goodman, Kelly Riley, who's on this really cool show called oh my goodness, I want to say Deadwood, that's not it. Oh man, the Western movie. My parents watch it. Oh goodness, I
Westworld or?
Oh no, I hate Westworld with a passion. No,
I don't know what it is.
Oh man, okay, I'm gonna think of it. It has Kevin Costner in it too. That's neither.
Oh, Yellowstone or
Yellowstone. That's it. From what I've seen, that's actually a good show. But she's in that. Denzel plays a pilot named Whit Whitaker, and he is a drunk. He's a drug addict. He's more likely a womanizer. He has a child he doesn't see. His ex-wife can't stand the sight of him.
He's a bastard.
He flies a plane and he's high and drunk. He's high as a kite and he's drunk at the same time. Something goes wrong with the plane. He's able to land it, but there are 6 fatalities on the plane. I won't give up any more than that, except you don't see Denzel act like this, like he does in this movie very often. He is a complete mess. The fight, well, not the final scene, one of the last climactic scene of the movie is in a courtroom. This movie is fantastic. If you haven't seen Flight from 2012, go see it. Academy Award winning nomination. He didn't win. I don't know who won that year.
I don't know
who won that year, but this is one of his best performances. Highly recommend it. Go check out Flight.
I haven't seen Flight in a while, but yeah, he was an absolute fucking mess. just an app. It's like, damn, Den. I mean, What the? Why are you playing such fucked up people?
Yeah, I love it though, because
I mean, he's good at it. He's good at it.
Regular, Denzel role. He's going to show off his range, and that's what he did in this film.
He definitely did. He was a mess, and it wasn't the first time he was a mess. Wouldn't be the last time he was a mess.
Oh.
Number 6. Some people may not like the fact that I have this movie down as 6. I do like this movie. It is truly one of the first movies I do think of when I think of Denzel. But I just couldn't quite get it up any higher than where it is. Some people aren't going to like this. This movie was in 1992. For a lot of people, this is the first movie some people will think of when they think of Denzel. Malcolm X.
There you go.
I love Malcolm X. It is truly one of his best movies. No doubt, hands down. I had the dual set VHS tapes of this because that was, it's back in the day when the long movies had 2 cassettes. This had 2. Right. I haven't bought it on DVD yet. It's one of many that I just don't own. But man, Denzel's acting chops. We all knew that the brother could act. We all knew it. We'd seen it before. Mm-hmm. But holy shit, he took it to a whole nother level. Yeah. And the fact that man did not get a damn Oscar for this is a little insulting. I don't know who won that year.
I do.
Who won?
And
it better be somebody good.
When I tell you this, you might be like, because I've debated this in my head for a long time. He lost in this movie came out in 92, right?
Yeah.
So the Academy Awards were in 93, and he lost to Al Pacino for Sin of a Woman.
No.
Yeah.
No, he shouldn't. No. I've seen that movie. No. Should have been Denzel.
To me, it's a toss-up because but to me, it's a toss-up. I'll leave it.
It should have been Denzel. Denzel had.
I can't argue it.
No, it should have been Denzel.
I can't argue it.
I mean, it's obviously based off the true story in the life of times of civil rights leader Malcolm X. Controversial character, controversial part of American history. And I mean, I'm wearing a Malcolm X hat. This was one of the things, that movie, this became a fashion statement and it became a political statement. Some people were, I have like 3. I mean, this is a silk Malcolm X hat, but for some folks, it was a political statement. For some, they were just wearing it to be fashionable, but definitely around this time, you were hard pressed to go one day without seeing somebody wearing a Malcolm X hat, seeing somebody on TV wearing a Malcolm X hat. I mean, this is truly a legendary acting role, a tour de force by Malcolm X, by Denzel Washington. And I'm not a big Spike Lee fan. I'm just not. I don't like him.
I'm not either. He's made some good stuff. He's made a lot of garbage.
He's made a whole lot of shit. But this movie, which also stars Angela Bassett, Delroy Lindo, damn. Spike
Lee has an acting role.
Yep. I mean, it just seemed like all his genius that everybody says he has, I finally saw it. So big ups to this Malcolm X. I know some people, for them, they should be like number 2 or even number 1. And I fully understand. However, this was truly as high as I could get it. There are 5 other movies that I do like more. And these are movies that I own. I don't even own a DVD copy of Malcolm X.
I do.
So,
because I'm looking for if you see me looking behind me, I'm looking for Flight. So I was going to grab it and the screen. And I got Malcolm X over there too somewhere. So I have them both. Yeah. Yeah.
But eventually I do want to get that. That's one of the many movies on my Amazon list. But again, love it. Number 6, Malcolm X. Truly one of Denzel's top 2, 3 acting performances. You can argue number 1.
So on the topic of movies that you said you don't even have this is a movie I want and I don't have it. I've seen it a lot of times and it is absolutely fantastic. And the movie here, this movie stars 2 of the best actors to ever be in.
Already know what it is.
Here you go. Denzel and Tom Hanks in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Directed by Jonathan Demme. He also directed The Silence of the Lambs, I believe.
Yep. The year before.
Yeah. So basically, Tom Hanks is an attorney, and he gets fired because he's homosexual, and he's HIV positive. So he wants to sue for discrimination. This company that fired him, and no one will help him. No other attorney will take this case. He approaches Joe Miller, played by Denzel Washington, who's also like, yeah, no, I'm not going to be able to take this case, but eventually does. He's only, the movie is sad because you got Denzel being the fantastic actor he is, and Tom Hanks took home an Oscar for this, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and he deserved it.
And he deserved it. And
he deserved it.
And you see, well, actually, he went back to back because this and Forrest Gump. I can't remember which.
He deserved both of them.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And there you go. That's what I'm saying. These are the 2 best actors. And actually, there's an interview, if you can dig it up. I don't even know who's interviewed him, but he made this statement. He was talking about Philadelphia. He said, "This is the only time I'm going to say this." He's like, "I learned and stole more from Denzel Washington than I ever have learned and stole from another actor in my entire life." And he's like, "This is the only time I'll ever admit it."
I believe it.
In substance, that's what he said, not verbatim. But Philadelphia, I mean, it's a fantastic movie. It gets you in the feels. It's sad because you watch Tom Hanks dying of AIDS, and this movie takes place in the 80s, where the big AIDS epidemic and all that. It's a fantastic film. This is one I don't know why I don't own it. Maybe I need to get on Amazon after I do this countdown and rectify that.
Yeah, why don't you do that? You cost me one.
Yes, there you go. If I can find it, $10-15, I'm grabbing it. So Philadelphia, that's my number 5. Beautiful movie.
Very good pick. Top 5, my number 5. Let's just get right to it.
We're killing it on this one, aren't we?
He said it all. Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Sad as hell. Yeah, that operatic scene toward the middle.
Yeah.
When Tom Hanks's character is explaining the opera, that is one of the most beautifully acted scenes I have ever seen. Just these 2 nailed that scene. I mean, they just stole. It's rare that you see a movie with 2 such tremendous actors like this.
You don't see it now. You don't see it like that now.
When it happens, sometimes one just doesn't quite show up. Right. One steals the thunder from the other one. Right. But they just played off each other perfectly and just put together just a tremendous acting performance. The sound, I love the soundtrack to this. The song Philadelphia is one of my favorite songs. I listen to that. That's on my Spotify playlist. Bruce Springsteen had a tremendous song in this movie. Like you said, directed by Jonathan Demme, who had just finished Silence of the Lambs. And for the climate that we were in back then, when he did Silence of the Lambs, there was a picket at the Oscars because it was another homosexual being played a serial killer. And it hurt Demme, people thinking that he was homophobic because people were saying it. And that's why he did Philadelphia. Gotcha. That was why he did it. That's what led to Philadelphia. Good. And again, just a tremendous movie. You said everything that could possibly be said. I do own this movie. It is a tremendous movie. But man, is it. And Antonio Banderas is also in this. He's in it too. A young Antonio Banderas before we knew who the hell he was.
Yeah. That was before his Desperado days, right?
It may have been. It had to have been around that time.
Mhm.
But yeah, just an amazing movie. Another tour de force, not only by Denzel, but by Tom Hanks, two just absolute legends. And we'll never obviously get another movie like this with those two. But
Well, who knows? I hope.
I think they're both at different points in their career now.
Yeah,
I just don't think we'll see something like this. And that's fine. One movie is perfectly good. It's perfectly good because quite honestly, I don't think another movie could top this. It's just that damn
very good.
It's just that damn good. So you said it all. Philadelphia, an amazing movie. Also my number 5. We've matched again.
Oh, yeah. Let's see if we can keep doing it.
Well, there's a few movies left that we haven't said.
Yeah. Number 4. So I don't know if you'll have this one. I don't know. I love this movie. This is from 1995. This has a young, ferocious Don Cheadle in this movie. Jennifer Beals, Tom Sizemore.
Oh God.
Yeah, I know you. Yeah. Directed by Carl Franklin. A lot of people think this is a Spike Lee joint, and it's not. I don't know.
No, it's not.
I think that, but this movie is Devil in a Blue Dress. This is a movie I saw as a very young man and it knocked my socks off. It's like a crime noir. Denzel is just a regular working class guy, or he might even be like in between jobs or something. I can't remember. But he gets thrown into this mystery of like this missing girl, and it's really noirish. He's in these jazz clubs, and it's a fantastic movie. It all works out in the end. What more can I say about this? It's a nice crime noir detective film. I don't want to give away too much of the plot because it has some twists and turns. Like I said, it has a young, ferocious Don Cheadle in it before anyone knew who Don Cheadle was.
Yeah, Don is interesting in this movie.
He really pushed it to steal the show in this movie. So if you haven't,
he's a motherfucker.
He's a monster in this. He's a monster. So if you're not seeing Devil in a Blue Dress, you got to find a way to stream it. If there's a movie store, which there probably isn't, rent it. Anything, buy it. Don't just. You don't even got to watch
it. Go to Walmart.
Just flat out buy it. Devil in a Blue Dress. I think they usually
go to Walmart. It's in the dollar bin. I'm sure it's in that bin. It's got to be in the bin.
Spend that $5 and get this movie. It is fantastic. It's one of my favorite Denzel movies of all time.
Wow, did not think that movie would pop up.
Oh yeah.
Well, at least we're coming up with different Denzel movies.
Yeah.
I didn't think that one would pop up.
Oh yeah.
Probably nobody thought Virtuosity would pop up. So
I had a feeling Virtuosity maybe. Because I was looking at it, I'm like, I don't have the nerve to. I looked at Virtuosity.
I get made fun of.
That's a fun movie.
I get made fun of.
I don't know why. I mean, it's not.
It's bad. It's bad. It's bad.
Come on.
It's bad. It's bad. It's bad.
It's
bad. It's bad. It's bad. All right. My number 4, we're not going to match again, at least not for number 4. Maybe we will again later. This is from 2004. And I'll just get right to showing it.
Yep.
Man on Fire, directed by Tony Scott, starring Denzel Washington, of course, Christopher Walken, Dakota Fanning. Around this time, there was a Marvel movie called The Punisher that came out with Thomas Jane. I was excited when they were going to do a Punisher movie. Then I watched it. Now, I do own it, and I actually own also the unrated version, which is a little better. But it didn't feel like The Punisher.
No.
Then this movie came out.
Denzel was a damn Punisher in this.
That was the Punisher. Was the Punisher. He's good at the violence. He's good at killing people in his movies. But this takes place in Mexico City, and he plays this former CIA, killer who's just, his life is, again, he's a mess. He's a mess again. But he takes this job to protect the little girl of this rich family in Mexico City, because in Mexico City, it's, according to the movie, very popular. People getting kidnapped and taken and everything like that. I shouldn't say taken because people think Liam Neeson, but but it happens a lot, and it happens to this little girl played by Dakota Fanning, and he's a mess, and she redeems him. It's a redemption story. He's completely redeemed. He's a totally different person at one point through this movie. I mean, he's teaching her how to swim. He's completely changed as a human being. And then, like Christopher Walken says, they made the mistake of taking her, and they're going to regret if they harm a single hair on her head. And he just goes off on a spree. And as he says, I'm going to kill anybody who looked at it, saw it, thought of it.
And he does.
And he does. I mean, I don't want to give away too much, but the steering wheel, that was a bit rough. Yeah. And of course, the ultimate is the grenade that gets strategically placed somewhere. That's all I'll say. If you've watched it, you already know what I'm talking about.
You know. I mean, you know.
I mean, he has a line in there talking about, talking about Jesus. I just arranged the meeting. I was like, oh, that is badass. Denzel just is this movie was so damn awesome. And Dakota Fanning, great actress. Yes. Children actresses can sometimes really go the other way. Yes. She wouldn't be quite so good when she was in War of the Worlds. In fact, she would be the worst kind of a kid actor. She was annoying, but that's not her fault. And clearly you can tell when you watch this movie, she was a great little actress. Yes. Right. So, and I heard some interviews where she said she learned a lot from Denzel. So this is a great movie. I own this movie. Awesome movie. It was the real Punisher that year. Definitely recommend this. Man on Fire. Plus Christopher Walken steals the movie with that scene when he's talking about people, a cook, an artist says Creasy's art is death. I mean, just that scene, just Christopher Walken, another great actor. He steals it. So, Man on Fire. Love it. Number 4.
Man on Fire is my number 3, but I'm going to tell you this. Almost my number 2. And at one point, I'm like, that's my number 1. You said it all. Tony Scott and Denzel, they worked very well together. I love the backdrop of Mexico City for this movie. Mm-hmm. I loved everything about this movie. Denzel, he, like you said, he was the Punisher. Very violent. Everyone deserved what they got. It was. I don't want to give away too much. Like you say, he's totally redeemed. Now, I would say he's a mess, but he's nowhere near a mess like he was in Flight.
He's a different mess. He's a different mess.
Yeah.
He plays different kinds of messes.
I think this is like a PTSD type mess. Because like you say, he was CIA, Black Ops something. I don't know if they get into exactly what it is he was doing besides killing people. But this movie is a work of art. I love it. I have it. I watch it occasionally from time to time. Like I said, something about this movie being done in Mexico City, and I don't know. It gels. It works. This is Denzel at one of the best performances he's done to me. Number 3 for me, Man on Fire.
Oh boy. Number 3 would be a reunion of 2 actors that I already mentioned before. Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe return together in the 2007 movie directed by Ridley Scott this time.
His brother.
American Gangster. Now, Denzel plays Frank Lucas, a drug lord. Now, they obviously took some liberties.
A lot of liberties. A lot.
I mean, Lucas was a bastard. There's no doubt that he was a bastard. But they made Lucas a little bit more of a Superman than he really was. There was another black kingpin at the time who was a little bigger. They called him Mr. Untouchable.
Nicky
He
Barnes.
was, Nicky Barnes. He was way worse than Frank Lucas was.
I feel like they both tell just completely different sides of their roles in the heroin trade in Harlem and New York at that time. They both will say, Nicky will say, well, I was the guy I did this, and Frank said I was the guy, and they've been arguing back, well, Frank's gone, but they were arguing back and forth for years about this.
Mm-hmm. But I think what they did is, to me, what they did was they combined the two into this movie. I think they kind of combined Nicky Barnes and Frank Lucas, and here you have American Gangster, Denzel's portrayal. Now, I'm not ripping Denzel's portrayal, but let's face it, they took some liberties.
Yes.
They took some serious liberties. But Russell Crowe plays this New York cop he's a good cop. Yeah. He had a chance at a bribe, and he's like, fuck you, I'm not going to do that. So he's a good cop, and he's determined to bring down Frank Lucas. And Lucas, I mean, there's some scenes in this movie. The scene with the gun on the street. I mean, it's now that's complete bullshit. Lucas didn't do that. He killed him, but not like that.
Idris Elba played that role good.
Yep. I mean, the piano scene.
Yeah.
I mean, this was just a great movie, and like I said, it's loosely based off a true story. And the funny thing is, somehow these two real life people became friends.
Yeah.
I mean, they became friends.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just so weird. It's so odd, but my God, despite the fact that they took liberties in this movie, this was another serious tour de force by Denzel Washington. Just even though they made him a little bit more Superman than he was, or Superfly, I should say. Doesn't matter. It was still a very good movie. Like I said, one of many Denzel. I do own that movie on Blu-ray. Great movie. Strongly recommend watching American Gangster. Just if you're one of these people that wants movies to be accurate based off the history, you'll probably get pissed. But if you don't care about that part of it, just enjoy the movie. It really, really is a great movie. Very well acted by Denzel. And I love the accent that Russell Crowe has in this movie. He totally nails it. So, American Gangster, my number 3. Oh, boy.
I own American Gangster, but it didn't make my top 10 or my...
Oh, I'm shocked.
Oh, because for me, Denzel is great in it, but when Denzel is not on the screen, the movie for me just kind of... Even Russell
I can see.
Even Russell, I'm kind of like, I just take him or leave him in this movie. But what really just irks me about this movie is Cuba Gooding Jr.'s portrayal of Nicky Barnes. He portrayed him like he's just this doofus. And that's and the older I get and the more I know about how that period really was, I'm like...
like I said, they took some liberties. Yeah. They took some serious liberties, but it is still, to me, a very good movie.
Cuba, he will just bomb a movie in like one scene. He'll destroy a whole movie. But okay.
What's your runner-up, man? The movie just not able to make it to number 1.
Training Day. Training Day is my number 2.
Training Day, okay.
Training Day is my number 2. This is one of those movies where people looked at Denzel and was like, oh my God, you're a bad guy. And he wasn't a bad guy. He was a god-awful, terrible guy. When I put this list together, I wanted to look at his best acting performances and how his performances could just carry the momentum of an entire movie. And once again, that goes back to what I was saying about American Gangster. When he's not on the screen, to me, the movie was just falling down and melting. But when he's back on, the movie goes back up, then it falls down. Training Day, Denzel pushed this to the limit. I mean, he pushed the needle as far as it'll go. Obviously, won an Academy Award for this performance over Russell Crowe for Gladiator.
Yeah.
Over Russell Crowe for Gladiator.
Yeah.
He pushed it to the absolute limit. He plays a crooked cop who's training an officer to be in his narcotics division. I won like a 1-year officer, I want to say. That is played by Ethan Hawke, directed by Antoine Fuqua. And I was at work and I met someone who he said he was his nephew. I just met him on a random, whatever, because the last name was the same. I was like, hey, you know Antoine Fuqua? He's like, oh, that's my uncle. I was like, wow, come back when you see me and give me an autograph for. I do like Antoine Fuqua. Great movie. They filmed it in only 3 weeks. It's filmed in I don't know what part of LA, but it's filmed right in the hood of LA, like what you're seeing on TV. That's exactly what you're acting. So there's real Bloods, real Crips around, and these guys acted their asses off. This is damn near as good as you'll see Denzel act. His character work in this movie is unparalleled, bar none. When everyone thinks about Denzel, I think 99% of the time, this is the movie they think of, Training Day. And there might be some people who like me and you will go to like the Glories, the Pelican Briefs, the Philadelphia, that kind of stuff. But especially for like the younger crowd, they're like Denzel, oh, Training Day, because his performance was that good. That's my number 2. Between my number 1, my number 2, my number 3, I flipped. Like I said, at one point I had Man on Fire as my number 1. Then I thought about, so as of today, when I went over it one more time, Training Day is my number 2.
My runner-up. I flip-flopped also on my number 1 and my number 2. And it really was the toughest part of this countdown, was my number 1 and 2. I have reversed these a couple of times. And truth be told, when we started recording, I flipped them again. So eventually, I've said it before, I got to end this debate in my head. Once I say it, I think you've said this, once I say it, it's done. Yeah. I'll regret it, though, right after I say it. But I'm going to do this. My runner-up.
Here you go, Training Day.
It's Training Day. I hate putting this at number 2 because, god damn, I love this movie.
Absolutely.
It is to say that Denzel plays a prick or an asshole. It does not describe it.
No,
he is the absolute worst human being walking the face of the earth. He is a complete scumbag. And if it was anybody else, you would wish death and hate the motherfucker. But because it's Denzel, people love this character.
Yes.
King Kong ain't got shit on me. I mean, all the lines that breathe, bro. I mean, when he kills with this, I mean, just breathe, bro, breathe. It's like, damn, man, I shouldn't be cheering this. This is a prick.
We all cheered him.
I mean, it took me back to The Shield.
Oh, Vic Mackey?
With Vic. Should not like that character.
Right.
Should wish him to be busted. I mean, for those who are a fan of The Shield, the first episode, he shoots a cop in the head.
Own partner. Well,
one of his partners.
Yeah.
Right away, you should think, right there, I should hate this son of a bitch. But good God, we rooted for Vic all the way to the end.
And that's the end. Yeah.
And that's how it was with Denzel's character here. You said everything about the plot. The only other part that I could possibly add was his wife hated this movie.
Oh, she
because
did?
I said it before. Well, I said it earlier. Denzel's a method actor.
Mm-hmm.
He went home, still this character.
Mm. Mm.
She did not like this character.
Sure.
She kicked Denzel. The story is that supposedly Denzel had to stay at a hotel until this movie was finished because she did not like the man coming home because he was still talking and acting like this. And we could only imagine the shit he was saying to his wife.
Yeah, I don't want to know. Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
Denzel.
that's the reason production was only 3 weeks because they're like, look, we gotta wrap this up.
Oh, she said it. She told the directors, like, you need to hurry up and finish this.
Yeah.
You need to finish this. I do not like the man coming home right now. So
I didn't know he was a method actor.
Oh God, yeah. He can't turn it off. He has to
So,
stay in character.
It's difficult. It can be difficult. I did a lot of stage plays and a little bit of film and even musicals in high school. I was in drama, high school and junior high school for 6 years, and a little bit in college. So once you really, I haven't done it in a long time, but once you really focus and get into a character and try to think the way that character thinks, it's hard to just shut it off like that. Okay, now I'm back to being Blake. Well, no, I was Eddie 2 minutes ago. It can be difficult,
especially depending on the character.
They say Daniel Day-Lewis is. I mean, he'll do.
Yeah, he is. He is. He's a method actor.
Yeah.
And John Bernthal is also a method actor, which I find funny considering he was the Punisher. So I'm only imagine how he was acting.
Side note: I did not like that Punisher either. I just could not. I tried. Because I loved Daredevil. I loved what's the other one that was really good? I like
Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Defenders.
Jessica Jones is okay.
Iron Fist.
Well, I did not like Iron Fist either, but I couldn't. I tried to get into the Punisher. I just knew it was going to be good because I liked John Bernthal and The Walking Dead. I just could not get into that. It wasn't him. It was just the plot was just too. The plot was just too slow for me.
I loved it. But yep, my number 2, tremendous performance, and of course, that year at the Oscars,
took it home.
He took it home. He wasn't the only black actor to take one home. Halle also did.
Halle Berry, Monsters Ball,
which is another great movie. I actually own that movie as well, and not just because Halle Berry's naked. It actually is a great movie. That's just a bonus.
Yeah, right.
That's just a bonus. But Training Day, my number 2, and I'm already regretting it, but it's too late to switch it.
Yeah. So,
all right.
Like I said, I looked at when I made this list. What is Denzel's best acting performance? What did he really push the needle in? And his best, and I've argued this with random people, with friends, and I'll argue to the end. Up until now, I just watched the Denzel movie a couple weeks ago called All the Little Things. But up until right now, the best acting I've ever seen him do is Malcolm X.
I knew that would be your number 1.
You went into it. I mean, everyone knows, the story of Malcolm X and the, impact, with civil rights and, how important of a man he was. And, say what you want about the man, and everyone agrees with Malcolm X's feelings about things, and you're entitled to your viewpoint. But as far as this movie, he didn't push the needle. He broke the entire mold when he became Malcolm X, and they went through a lot. Spike Lee went through a lot getting this film done. He had to borrow money from Oprah, and he was begging people for money to keep, to get production out. His best acting performance, if you look at old videos of Malcolm X and the way he delivered his speeches and his mannerisms, Denzel mirrored that with the red hair and the glasses. He looked like the man when he's in prison, and the way he's acting in prison, he nails it. When he starts, when he turns from Malcolm Little to Malcolm X, and then when he meets the minister once he gets out, that is the best acting I've ever seen that man do, and that's saying a lot because here we've listed all these movies and he's knocked out the park in every single one. Maybe not Virtuosity and Ricochet, but every single one, he knocks it completely
He
out.
knocked it out for us. That's all that matters.
He knocked it out for us. But his acting performance in this, it's timeless. This is an absolute classic. I don't know if I've ever seen another actor get inside of a role and mirror that person as much. There's maybe like one or two more people I could even consider being on this level. And
Daniel Day-Lewis did it with Lincoln.
He did, but I tell you what, I watched that movie and I fell asleep 2 times while I watched it.
I can understand that. I can understand.
So
it's long. It's long.
It's long, and it's just nothing going on. But I would say maybe Jamie Foxx and Ray. I'd say maybe because he
really,
yeah, he killed it as Ray. But and that's those are the few. This is Denzel's best performance to me. My number 1 is Malcolm X.
Not mad at you. I figured that would probably be number 1. Like I said, that's why I was prefacing. It's going to pain me to put Malcolm X where I did, number 6. It's not a rip on it. I love that movie. It's his best performance, but you said it. There are moments in that movie when he's not around.
Okay. And that's how it was with American Gangster. For me, it was just when Russell Crowe's on the screen and like it just.
I can see it, but to me the movie held up. But Malcolm X, when Denzel wasn't there, the drop was huge.
Okay.
For me, it just was a huge drop off. The best moments was him in it, and when he's not there, it just tanks. That's why I had to drop it.
I understand.
I hate doing it because it's not a rip on him.
No. What's your number 1? I'm ready to hear this. I think I might know.
What do you think it is?
Is it Glory? Did you say Glory yet?
Glory's in my honorable mentions.
Oh, okay. I don't know then.
I will say that another honorable mention is Crimson Tide.
I thought about Crimson Tide.
It's an honorable mention. I love that movie with him and Gene Hackman.
I don't do well with underwater movies like that, and even like The Abyss. I don't do well.
Oh God, The Abyss is a classic.
I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's not. It's actually a good movie, but I just don't. I don't know what it is. I just get so bored easily with underwater movies.
Oh, I guess you probably didn't watch Aquaman.
I seen on Zack Snyder's cut. That's the only Aquaman I've seen.
Oh, the Justice League?
Yeah.
Which comes out on Blu-ray on September 10th, which I've already pre-ordered.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I have, so I'll have them both. Yeah. All right, my number 1. I'm not saying this is the greatest acting performance Denzel has done. I've said it with Training Day. I said it with what he was given with American Gangster. And of course, I've said it with Malcolm X. But I love this movie. I literally just watched this movie 3 days ago. This movie, I had it on DVD and it got stolen from me, and it enraged me because I love this movie so damn much. And in the end, that to me is what proved just how much I love this damn movie. I don't even own that Malcolm X on DVD or Blu-ray. But this movie, I got pissed off that got stolen, and I rebought it. Let's just go right to it. People are going to laugh at me for having this number 1. I love this movie. I just love this movie. I love this movie. Remember the Titans. Denzel just, he plays this old football coach who Herman Boone, and he's given this team during some very racial times.
Yes.
And it's a mixed team with black and white players. And the coach of this school before was Bill Yost, played by Will Patton. And he's going to stay on as the assistant coach. And it's loosely based off a true story. They do take some liberties, but not nearly as many liberties as there was in American Gangster. But this was a feel good movie, and I just loved it. I absolutely, totally love this movie, and Herman Boone was he was a lovable bastard. I've heard people describe him as that. Rest in peace to Herman Boone. He passed away a couple of years ago. But I heard him just called a lovable bastard. He would put you through hell, but you would come out on the other side, and you would think of him as like your dad or your grandpa. His kids just loved him. And this just follows that team, a history-making team. And again, I know there's probably a whole lot of people who would not put this in their top 5, much less their number 1. But there's just something about this movie. I always leave this movie feeling good. And that's a great do I leave American Gangster feeling good? No. Do I leave Training Day feeling good? No. I enjoy the movie, right, but not a joyful smile good. I always finish watching Remember the Titans, and I just feel just hopeful, good, smiling almost. Just not a lot of movies can make me feel that way. And that, I think, is another one of those big things why this movie is number 1, because there's just not a lot of Denzel movies there's not a lot of movies, period, that make me feel that way. And Remember the Titans, for some odd reason, hit every single spot. I know people got pissed off because they edited the words, like nigger and all that stuff. They edited it out. But it's a Disney movie.
Right.
I mean, they're not going to throw that word in there. So no. They would replace it with, they would call him Coach Coon, for example. That's the words they would choose. Or say you picked up some people from the zoo, Bertier. I mean, just stupid stuff like that. But I love this movie. I can't get over this movie. It is the first movie I really do think of when I think of Denzel is Remember the Titans. Okay. And it's my number 1.
It didn't make my top 10. I mean, it's a nice movie. It wouldn't have made my top 10, but I respect it. I thought you were going to say The Preacher's Wife for a second.
Oh, God, no. I hated that thing.
I thought you were going to say that.
I had to sit through that with my mom. Ugh.
Yeah, everyone had to sit through that one with their mom.
Yes. And you have to hear your mom swooning over Denzel. I'm like, Mom, I don't want to hear you saying this stuff. Ugh.
Yep.
But there we go. That is our countdown. 10 Denzel movies, our favorite. Any regrets?
Any regrets for me? No.
All right, good. I liked your countdown. Like I said, you mentioned some good movies there. What do y'all think? What would be your favorite 10 Denzel movies? There's some movies that we may have forgotten. There's some movies that we had low that you would have put up, or there's some movies you thought we shouldn't have, like Virtuosity, for example. You can certainly let me know. There are plenty of ways to let me know, and I'm going to put it right here for those of you on YouTube. You're going to see it on your screen here. You can let me know through all these means, baby. You can send me an email. Just send it to thecountdown2020@gmail.com. You can go over to the Facebook page. Just search at the Countdown 2020 Podcast 1. You can search on Twitter at the Countdown PO1. I'm on Instagram, the Countdown 20. I'm on Spotify, so you can listen to all the shows and episodes. The Countdown 2020. I'm on Amazon Audible. Just search the Countdown Podcast. I'm on iHEART Radio. Search the Countdown Podcast. Go to Podbean. All the episodes are available through Podbean. Just search the Countdown Podcast. And you can go to the Podbean website, or the website that I have on there. Just search countdown2020.podbean.com. And of course, I'm on YouTube. Just search the Countdown Podcast with MJ Book. Please like, listen, follow, watch, and subscribe. And please, I say it all the time, if you're a professional wrestling fan, please listen to Third Generation Wrestling. We just had a busy weekend covering CM Punk's return, and then covering a very shitty SummerSlam, and then covering a slightly disappointing NXT takeover. So busy weekend. Please listen to those. Me and of course Good Brother have appeared on many different episodes. So listen to the Real Big E, Eric, and Robbie Ambassador. We were joined by Doc for SummerSlam. Yeah. But it was good to see Doc. Good to have Doc back on there. And Doc, you still have an open invitation to come back here on the countdown. So please listen to Third Generational Wrestling. They're available on all the avenues I just said. Plus, they're available on a couple additional ones that I'm not on. Anything you want to close out with, sir?
Hey, thanks again for having me. And once again, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm going to be leaving here in about an hour or two to finish a few more of these.
There you go. Awesome.
But I also want to do a quick shout out and a thank you to Incomtech.com for the royalty-free music. Ice Flow, done by Kevin MacLeod, that you hear at the beginning and ends of the shows. And I will catch you all again on the next episode of The Countdown. Have yourself a great day or evening, whatever time it is. Bye-bye.